Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting around for the phone to ring and somebody to tell me everything, and that man is Rudy Reber. You're comfortably zoned from Alameda with the man who used to live in Alameda. How are you, Rudy?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I can't complain a bit.
You're in L.A.
I'm in L.A.
I'm
not zoned. I ain't got the lungs for it anymore. But
well, let me tell you a zone story real quick. Before I say that you're going to be up here in San Francisco to be in Comedy Day next week, and that's very exciting. We'll talk about that. You mentioned the lungs for it, and I know what you mean. We're talking about zoned, and we're talking about pot. In this case, zone can mean anything you really want it to be, but in the specific case of comfortably zoned, I want to talk to you a little bit about an outrageous thing that's going on up here with a man I consider to be an acquaintance, a Facebook friend who has been on my show, is the head of the Marijuana's Union nationwide. There's a union now, and this guy's the head of it.
They go on strike for no more seeds or what?
Well, no, they go on strike they don't go on strike. They try to avoid that at all costs. This should be a pretty easy business to make things right with the worker and the big money maker. And believe me, medical marijuana in California, as you well know, is a big money maker. It's become big biz, big labor, all that stuff. The head of the union who founds the marijuana, he's the founder of the marijuana chapter of the union. You know, the garment union, this is just a part of it. He's indicted on like 21 counts of taking favors from the club owners, taking loans and not paying them back, and taking favors on behalf of the club owners, and he's representing the unions. And this guy can go to jail for 21 years. He's a nice guy.
So he's shaking down club owners, or
he's not shaking them down, taking favors from club owners. And
in return for what?
Well, one can only imagine. They lent him money, $600,000. Now, he's the head of the union. What are the club owners going to do with $600,000? It has to be in return for concessions somewhere along the line to make things better. This guy's indicted. I talk to a lot of marijuana people in the clubs up here, Harborside in particular. They're amazed. I mean, these are working people that work in these clubs as growers, you know, this, that, and the other thing.
Oh, right.
And for a short while, it looked like, well, we're going to this is really kind of nice. We're going to get benefits. We're going to be treated like human beings. We're going to get health benefits. We're going to, they're not going to treat us like dogs just because it's all legit, that we're going to be part of it. And this guy it looks like, I like to think the best, but the feds...
The way you describe it sounds like he's selling out the people he represents.
I mean, on the in the story, they're saying he gave money, right, exactly, because if you're taking $600,000, where's that money coming from? Where are the unions going to get that money back? That's from concessions somewhere along the line. So he's in big trouble. I find it to be absolutely outrageous what's happening with unions today and the little respect that the working person has, and just that the fact that we can call an employed person that works 40 hours a week the working poor in our country makes things
it's awful.
It's awful.
It's ridiculous.
And
yeah, I mean, the idea that you can work 40 hours and not afford to pay rent and put food on your table is just ridiculous.
You know, I don't know how things are. We haven't talked in about a year. You've been ill, and you know I've tried to get you back 2 or 3 times, and you've experienced some bad stuff over the year. Thankfully, you're right on the right track. You're recovering. You got your voice back. You had a little coronary thing going that was scary as shit.
Well, you know, they looked it up and found it wasn't. They thought this. I'll give all props to the VA who does my health care. Government paid 100% for free.
Right.
The way everybody in the country ought to have. And they do a great job, and they didn't give up. They just kept testing and checking this and checking that. And it's fantastic. They got me back where I'm able to be back at work after over 3 months.
Oh, wow. That's very, very nice. Very nice. I can't tell you how happy that makes me feel, because we're Facebook friends, and I read your stuff all the time. You've got an incredibly great mind. You see what's happening in this country. You see how separation of church and state is practically non-existent anymore. You see how the people with the money, these CEOs, are making 400 or 500 times more per hour than the working guy that goes to work and schleps through the same traffic and has to put up with the same stuff, with the same conditions in life, and to make that much less money, and it's disgraceful. It scares me.
It is, and he lay that right at the doorstep of Reagan, same guy that put all these people on the streets in California.
Exactly. And closed the unions too.
Well, yeah, they busted unions. You know, gave concessions and tax breaks to these rich guys while he's selling arms to the Iranians, you know, and now they cry about this deal that's going on to allow the inspections in Iran, the deal as far as nukes, and they cry like we're giving them bombs when the guy who gave them bombs was, 30 years ago.
And he's lionized by these people. I mean, this guy, you could make a saint out of this guy.
Oh,
and he was
exactly.
the most destructive son of a bitch that ever lived. He was demented when he was the governor of California. I lived in Sacramento at the time. I had clients who were state policemen who guarded the son of a bitch. When he was playing with the trains in the basement with little Ronnie, and they were leading him around because he didn't know where the men's room was in his own house. And,
that was the days when you could go get a college education at Berkeley for not one nickel.
Right. Right. Exactly. And look what this state has come to. And that's when the days when the roads were the best in absolutely, literally the world. You could drive the freeways for recreation. You don't hear that anymore. You don't hear, let's go out for a drive. Oh, that'd be fun. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's go hit the 405, man. That'll be fun.
Right, or up here, let's go 280. It's
yeah, exactly.
We'll play the numbers today. We'll go down. There may be a truck or two. There may be some congestion. You never know. Let's give it a try. It'll be fun. Jesus Christ! And then you pay $36,000 for a car. Oh, does it have air conditioning? Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes. Craziness, crazy world we're living in, Rudy. I could solve it all. We could do 2 things. First of all, I think the most fertile minds in the country come from the industry that you are so successful in, and that's comedy. We need to have comedians for Bernie. Am I right?
Well, so many of the comedians are for Bernie too. The
Right.
people I see, looking at Facebook posts and Twitter and whatnot, the guy, you got Hillary Clinton. My complaint with her, you look at her, it's like she's reading stuff off a board, and Bernie's out there talking to people.
Absolutely. Ironically, Bernie reminds me of Hillary's husband, who had a way with people, who could go into a cafeteria and sit down with the average guy, and he's liked and trusted instantaneously. Hillary walks into the room, you reach for your wallet to make sure everything's okay, or you make sure your cell phone is still there. She didn't delete anything from it. And she's a Republican, for Christ's sake. Not that Bill isn't and wasn't then.
Yeah, economically, Bill Clinton, nice guy, jovial guy.
Right.
You get the young girl sucking on his dick. What the hell? But
she and our little girl is getting older. She's making a comeback now. She's speaking at the Jewish Community Center. Monica is, and I don't know.
Well, good for her. My God, they dumped on that poor girl. All my life, I've liked the hell out of women who want to suck a dick. And I always thought they were the best. Why would I be against Monica Lewinsky? I wouldn't make fun of her.
Right.
I wouldn't have drug her out from under my desk either.
No, he had the opportunity, and God bless him, he took care of it. And
but economically, the man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say economically, he agreed to stuff that was just ridiculous,
right.
and socially as well. That Defensive Marriage Act, bite me.
Yeah, and ecologically, he didn't do very much at the end.
Yeah,
and that's what
exactly.
His real downfall is that, and when it comes down to it, these guys can play around with the oil and with the religion and going over to the Middle East to get into Israel and have the Christians want it and the Muslims want it and the Jews want it and all that stuff and sell arms. The only thing that really matters that we're going to leave our kids and grandkids is this planet. And I think Bernie would be more concerned about that in the long run. And I think he'd be more concerned with the worker getting a fair shake, and that's what it's going to come down to.
He absolutely is. And he gets along not just with the people, he gets along with the guys on the other side. When he became the mayor in Burlington, Vermont, the richest guy in town went in and told him, "You might be the mayor, but I own this town." And like 6 months later, the guy was Bernie's biggest supporter.
Really?
He could see if you treat people right and you do what's right for the people, the whole town is going to be better. The rich guys will get richer. If there's 300 million people with a pocket full of money, these rich guys won't have to connive and cheat and fuck everybody to stay in their bank account. You got a country with 300 million people with a fat wallet, and everybody, if you're selling stuff, you're gonna do well. If you're selling shit, you're gonna go broke. Tough luck for you.
Yeah, absolutely. My other solution, we got comedians for Bernie. The great minds the comedians can provide when they pull the wagon in the same direction. Entertainment is where it's at. Comedians speak the spoken word, obviously. And I think if we find a way of banding together, we'd have something. Because the way I look at it, if we have more of the same old for another four years, or God forbid another 8 years, this country's going to implode. I mean, there's too much going on for keeping it the way things are.
Well, if the people we have on our side that are running will finally realize they don't have to suck the butt of these crazy frickin' Bible-thumping idiots, they can tell them to blow it out their ass. That's what people have been waiting to hear for years.
Right.
You know, that's Trump's thing. You know, fuck Donald Trump. He'll go out there and he knows people are just waiting for somebody to go, what? Fuck you. Jesus, Fiorina, nice face. Jesus Christ, fucking turn around. You know?
Can you imagine Harry Truman saying something like that? Adlai Stevenson, he gets up, FDR's
George
wife.
McGovern,
right?
Yeah,
Any of them,
happen.
Humphrey, even Nixon. I mean, they were covertly scumbags, but they didn't have the nerve to come out and talk about building a fucking wall. We'll have the Mexicans pay for it. Oh yeah, they'll take it out of petty cash. They'll take it out.
Yeah, well, they didn't have the nerve. They didn't have the nerve to do stuff like go. You know, they didn't have the nerve to look at Huckabee and go, are you really that fucking stupid? Or do you just think the people listening to you are that stupid? You ignorant motherfucker. That's, if somebody did that, the crowds would go nuts. Bernie can do it without saying motherfucker. But he's what we need because he tells them, what, are you fucking shitting me?
If you or anybody out there wants to hear Bernie at his all-time best, granted this is like 10 years ago, but this is 10 years ago, he's talking to Greenspan, Alan Greenspan, who's the head of the money thing. He was the head of the money thing for 40 frickin' years. And Bernie cuts him a new one in front of God and everybody on CNN, and it's on YouTube. Bernie, just Google it, Bernie Alan Greenspan, and in a way without saying motherfucker. I mean, I don't know how you can do it.
No, but Bernie's smart. Bernie, because he knows what the hell he's talking about. These guys rely on being able to bullshit people who aren't smart enough or haven't done the research to be able to call them on it.
Yeah.
You know, these TV guys, well, I'm just here to report. So your job is to report somebody saying bullshit without pointing out that it's bullshit? Fuck you, that's your job. No.
And when they do editorialize, they always editorialize by putting the side of management's view. If there's a strike, a labor dispute, for instance, BART, CBS, this is what you get when you get a strike, when you get congestion.
Yeah. And then they'll say, some people say, and then present the side that's absolutely 100% correct. Like, some people say, people with a motherfucking brain say. What are you, shit me? It's not some people saying that. It's people with connected brain cells. Other people, lying assholes who are out to grab your wallet, say this.
Right, they don't make it quite that clear.
No, they never do. Of course not.
No.
It's just, some say this and some say that. Like they both have equal weight.
Exactly. Yeah, some say the world is flat. Well, you never know. It might be.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about? No, it won't be, isn't.
Exactly. They will not point out that some say this. What? Kiss my rosy red ass, some say.
Some say, as if to balance it out, to make it controversial. Well, if it were obviously, you wouldn't have to report it. You wouldn't go, well, duh. You'd have to, some say, so just from...
Yeah, I mean, they try, they're not as obvious about it as Fox. Fox, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I just got a beep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a beep in my ear for something. I don't know if it's the battery or because I'm too far from the Wi-Fi.
It could be somebody calling.
Nah. Nobody calls me. They got better sense.
No, well, you call them. And the person you'll be calling and did call was either Katzman or Deb Durst, and you got booked at Comedy.
Well, I'm not performing because I don't have the lungs for it. I'm just going to be up there giving my moral support.
Okay. Well, that'd be great. We'll get to see you, and we'll hang for a while. That would be terrific.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's like I did Comedy Day for years,
Right.
and in the 80s and 90s.
What's your experience of it? Your first Comedy Day? I think it was
Like
Joe Simon at that
82,
time. Right?
I think.
Yeah. Do you remember getting
what?
up there in front of all those people?
Oh, I remember various times at the band shell, at the polo fields.
Right.
And it is a way different thing because, these guys who get up there and raise their eyebrow like they're going to get a laugh by doing that are shit out of luck.
Right.
No, nobody can see your freaking eyebrows. But, and you gotta and do the joke and wait 10 times longer than you would in a club for the joke that resonate through the crowd. Either that or you're walking on it.
Right. Right. So, and if you wait too long, you look like Bob Hope, for crying out loud. Or
yeah, no kidding.
So
yeah, it's an experience.
And you liked it. It was heart beating.
I loved it.
You've been up in all the big clubs.
Oh yeah, but to be out there, you look at. There's a picture I got on Facebook from towards the rear, off to the side.
Right.
In '87, and it looks like frickin' Woodstock.
And it's
huge stage, and it just looks.
Is that?
I put
Bridget?
the picture of Whoopi up.
Is the picture of Bridget with Whoopi?
Oh, somebody told me who it is. I'll have to look it up. I didn't recognize her.
It looks like Bridget.
No. No, this is somebody else. They told me the name, and it was a name I knew, and I'll have to look up. I'll let you know what it is. I'll send you a message.
All right, that sounds good. So, and you'll get in touch when you come up here, and it'll be terrific. And
oh yeah, I had my flight and my hotel room bought and paid for in May.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm going to stay at the Opera right there by Civic Center.
Great. So I know your voice is an issue. I'm going to ask you to give me some memories. It's been 14 years since you were on. Do you want to be a millionaire?
15 years. Yeah, that was 2000.
Yeah. Whoa, it's 15 now. Wow, incredible.
Yeah, a long time ago. I spent that money.
Well, who wouldn't have? But you said. You were so delightful. I mean, just for those out there that don't know, you won $250,000. You're going for $1 million for $500,000.
I could have walked if I'd walked. I'd have had that. Yeah,
had that, but you're going for $1 million, which is cool in itself.
Right.
The decision, it's your money.
The name of the show wasn't, "Hey, I want to get a few bucks, man."
Right. You want to get right. Exactly. But the idea, you didn't answer the question right. You could blame it on Durst, and you didn't.
I'm the one who asked Durst and decided to go with it.
And he was
I'm not going to blame
decisive
Durst
about it. I listened to the YouTube today, and he goes, "Oh, absolutely." It was the fourth one, and whatever it was, he was absolutely decisive. And you went, "All right, my man," and you knew then by the tone of his voice, and you were genuinely surprised. And
Regis was blown away because he didn't know the answer.
Oh, Regis, they didn't
until the point where you say the answer, final answer. That's when it pops up on his screen. He doesn't have the question and answer both in front of him. Yeah. So he thought, he was 100% thinking that I was going to be, at the $500,000 question.
Yeah, I'll give you a little
that he was going to be reading me $1 million question.
I'll give you a little trivia about Regis. He was the sidekick to Joey Bishop on the Joey Bishop show.
I know that, yeah, back in the 60s.
Back in the 60s.
Yeah, matter of fact, I teased him about that on the Millionaire Show.
Oh, really?
He asked me a question. He goes, the question was, he didn't ask me. It was one of the millionaire questions. what group included Sinatra.
The Rat Pack, right?
Yeah, right, the Rat Pack, but they didn't include Bishop in the question. I said, the Rat Pack. I said, Regis, it's sort of odd they didn't mention Joey Bishop, don't you think? And he was like, well, yeah, Joey was a big part of that. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
I'd always heard that they didn't get along real well, so I was just jabbing him with that one.
Oh, I didn't know. I had never heard that. I had never heard.
I just remember that in the back of my mind. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too important. But your reaction when you lost, they gave you a big old $32,000 check, and you looked at the camera, and you smiled, and it was important to me hearing it because I'm a fellow telemarketer from way back, a fundraiser, this, that, and the other, a salesman and you said, well, it'll keep me from being a telemarketer for a while. And you were
exactly.
You couldn't have been any happier had you won. And you know what? There's an expression.
But it was $32,000 that I didn't have when I walked in there. That's not crap money.
And by the way, there's an old expression in finance: big money problems. Little money problems, or maybe reversed would be a better way of saying it. But it's a lot less. There's a lot to having big bucks that on the negative side that might have changed your life in ways that were.
You never know. Things happen. They always say it happens for a reason. Well, that's retarded. Of course it happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. It might be falling down and hitting my head on a curb. It happened because I was drunk. It doesn't mean it's good stuff, but there's always a reason. But in any event, I mean, it's like it's the hand I was dealt. That's the hand you got to play. You know, if you sit there at the poker table crying about wishing, well, I wish I'd have got that 10 of clubs. You've lost already.
Exactly. Wishes and hopes, nuts and whatever the hell it is. It was an expression, a silly old expression about not.
Yeah, my dad said, "Wish in one hand and shit in the other one. See which gets full the fastest." My dad was just.
I am glad you.
My dad was helpful that way.
Yes, he was. My dad used to say, "Just go out, play in traffic. Don't bother me. Get the hell out of here."
My dad, I'd be crying about something. My dad would tell me, "You want sympathy? It's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis."
Well,
thanks, Dad.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Dad.
that's it. It made me not sit around and cry expecting somebody to fix stuff for me.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do on your own, and no one's really going to take care of you but yourself. And that's
good
the
deal.
life lesson. As a fellow veteran, I want to say, and it took me a few moments to react, that I am delighted that you are getting some good care at the veterans, because one way or the other, someday that's going to be me, and I want to know that things are different than the way we perceive things to be, given the big scandals that have gone on in the last few years.
I hear them, but some of these, some of it is stuff that happens when you're dealing with millions of people in a system. Things like that happen, and they're fighting to change it. It's never happened to me. It's, I think a lot of it is politicians trying to make other politicians look bad by crying about this stuff. It's when I hear it from the Republicans, who are the ones who voted against every money grant to help change it, and then go out and act like the Democrats just aren't helping vets. That's just ludicrous. They send people to war and don't want to pay a dime to help them. Right.
And that's one thing that Bernie.
But the VA is great. The VA. It's single payer health care. It's what we should have for everybody.
Absolutely. And whether or not it's just like the old Peter Paul and Mary, the rich would live and the poor would die. Fuck that shit. What's rich?
Yeah.
Rich is your memories. Rich isn't the amount of money you have. And every human being should be entitled to food, shelter, and a decent way of life. And
well, I get real pissed when I hear them saying, that hard work is what's going to get you there. And I just read somebody said something just recently. Said if hard work is what it took to get a decent life, Africa would be full of rich-ass women. You see these women with a freaking 50-pound jug of water on their head and lugging pounds of wheat in baskets on either arm.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That hard work will really get you far. And it's the same folks who gave into these bankers and haven't prosecuted these Wall Street bastards who literally stole people's homes and houses and retirements, and they go unprosecuted. And you get
and the arms dealers and the arms manufacturers that have looted this country's goddamn treasury.
Oh yeah.
Making crappy stuff. They're overcharging. It's a scam. But it's the scam that pays off and doesn't get you in jail.
Yeah, and gives you a nice house in the Hamptons and a way of living that you'll never know. One other thing I want to cover with you, we talked about this last time, and it hit me. You don't have to have a car to drive in L.A. You can drive.
I don't have a car, no.
Right, and we talked about it. We briefly talked about, stuck in my head, that one can survive on public transportation, as we can in the Bay Area. We're blessed with that. And it's pretty much the same in Los Angeles.
It's slowly getting better here. The company I work for allows me, I give them just under $200, and they give me a subsidized 1-year unlimited bus and rail pass.
Oh.
So that's a help.
Yes.
But I use Lyft all the time, and I realize if I had a car, I'd be paying for parking, for insurance, for gas, for maintenance, for tags.
Yeah.
And what I pay Lyft, I can take a lot of rides without spending that money.
Yeah, and an outrageous amount for tickets they're charging to keep things going. Like you make an illegal turn over a double yellow line, you'll pay like $500-600 here going in.
Oh yeah, it's a $40 ticket, but they add on the
prevent costs and
prevent diabetes costs. It's all these funds they add on.
Right.
That's crazy.
The Jerry Lewis telethon. You got so just tack it on there. All right, Rudy. Hey, you're a pleasure to talk to. It's so nice to see you on the upswing, and I'm so glad that they're taking care of you at the veterans thing. And you're a delight.
Yeah,
I'm happy
too.
I'm
going to be really looking forward to seeing you next weekend.
Absolutely. We'll go for it, and we'll toast one in any way we can. So
Sounds
I will end
the
episode. I will end the episode in the way that I end most of them. I'll implore you and my audience to keep your dreams wet and your humor dry. Keep your kids out of military recruiting stations and off the laps of clerics that wear dresses. And the whole family will be much happier. Everybody.
Hey, best advice ever.
Okay? I mean, so a lot of people don't listen to the end of the show. They'll listen to the first few minutes, but they don't listen, and they never hear the best advice ever. That's all. Those 4 things. But if you add the 5th one, keep on keeping on. It's important. Adios, amigo.
All righty. See you in a week. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.